Hi guys, my name is Mohammed Javed. Performance is my passion, and today on the Young Driver I'm reviewing this, which is a Toyota 4Runner, which the badge is here in a nice embroidery. The trunk is pretty big from the get-go, but let's take a look at the front. The mounting points for the lights are pretty similar too. I mean, the Tacoma to my chest, same here. The fog lights to my hips, it's pretty much similar here. So a lot of the engineering size-wise was done very similarly. You get these sensors for parking purposes, so when you're parking at slow speeds, they beep at you to tell you, hey buddy, go a little bit to the left, to the right, and they give you instructions. Makes parking a lot easier in a vehicle as big as this one. So looking here, you get these nice roof racks, and they don't come all the way forward because of this sunroof, or moonroof as some might call it, but these are pretty nice, they're pretty sturdy. As you could hear, they're really tough, and you can get crossbars on them, you can slide them back and forth. With the railing mechanism that you could see over there, you get these weird ripples on the roof, which helps hold things down so they don't move around as much when you corner with heavy objects on the top. Moving down to the side styling, a little bit farther back though, you get your limited badge here. You wear that with pride, obviously. And the wheels, they look cool. They're massive. They're 18 inches on this thing. And the TRD versions, they'd stop at 17 inches. Because with an off-roading vehicle, you really want smaller wheels, bigger tires. This one, a little bit more road-oriented, so bigger wheels make it more comfortable, better handling. But even though it's made to handle better and everything, it's still pretty good off-road. You get a lot of ground clearance here. I mean, look. I could literally stick my head into this, okay? You can't really do that with most other SUVs, okay? And even though it feels uncomfortable, it does fit there pretty fine. Moving down to the rear styling, you get this fin. As with most Toyota vehicles nowadays, they just do this. It's a design, it's a signature design piece of most of them. But here, you get a lot of tech. So, as with most SUVs, you get one of those automatic tailgates, right? And it goes up automatically, and you can press several buttons to bring it up and down. That's not too interesting. What is really interesting with the 4Runner, and they've had this since the very first ones, which were sold in the 90s, or 80s too also, but you press this button, hold it down, look at that! Now, I mean, my Ford Escape has like a little hatch that goes up. This is even cooler. It's an electric mechanism, and if I press this button and hold it down, it beeps at me like, hey buddy, move your fingers out of the way, I don't want to saw them off, right? And then it goes up. But the spoiler, even though it doesn't really have too much aerodynamic effects on an SUV, it does reduce some drag, which is good, and it also houses your wiper blade too, so it's a nice place to hide it, I'd say. There's your white windshield washer fluid hole too, so it exits out of there. So as this is one of the best analog SUVs you can buy nowadays, I mean, it's pretty old school in the way that it's set up. It's for people who don't want too much technology, but they've still made it pretty easy for you to tow stuff. And I mean, look at this. It holds up pretty well. It's mounted to something really strong in the chassis. And you're getting some parking sensors, which work pretty nicely too with a big SUV like this as well. If I open the trunk and pull it up, that's massive. I mean, yes, that seat is down, but just if I pull it up, it's still huge. Look at this nice floor mat that you get onto it too, which is nice. You get a little electrical plug-in, as you did with the Tacoma. You get another auxiliary plug-in, hooks to hook things down to the chassis. You get JBL speakers and subwoofers in the back here. You get some storage cubbies. So, for example, I'm pretty sure this is what they've designed it for. So let's say you have a family dog and they sit back here. Well, chances are they might want food, they might want water, right? And you put the water here and the food there, or vice versa. Really, it's just really designed for a family that might want to carry the family dog in the back. You get some mounting points for your little so let's say you wanted to hide something back here in the trunk and you didn't want people to see it. You would just plug a little curtain here, plug it in here, and hook it up here for storage areas. If you pull the carpet up, you still get even nice carpet here. And let me just pull this out for a second, okay? Set it aside. It does still have a lot of well carpeted areas here, and you could pull this out to access spare tire. The trunk's pretty good. Let's take a look at the engine. So to take a look at the showpiece of the engine, you pull the hood up like that, and bam, it has nice struts to hold it up. It's pretty good. But the engine itself is a masterpiece too. It's a 4-liter V6. 4 liters for a V6 is pretty big. Most vehicles stop at 3.7, 3.5. This stops at 4. And it is essentially, I mean, as with most bits of the vehicle, a lot of it is shared with the Tacoma that we saw last time. But the cool thing is, this is not the new Tacoma engine. This is from last generation, and it's still 4 liters. It makes 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot. The engine does have nice 6 little cylinders, and they are fake, but they look pretty cool. They showcase your V6 power with Toyota. The oil, it comes at a weird place, so you just put it here. It's really easy to do that. Your fuses, your air intake, all your other stuff, like your air filter as well, all this stuff is showcased in one big plastic box, so that if you do take your 4Runner off-roading, which it's great at, especially the TRD versions, then you know it could hide all this stuff from water and dirt to protect it. Same with the wire harnessing. It's made really well, and water and dirt won't damage it as easily as some other vehicles. If you look here, you get this big plastic piece, and at first you think, well, what are they hiding under here? Really, it's nothing. There's not too much down here. Yeah, there's an intercooler, there's a fan here, which I can touch with no weird stickers, but they're not hiding too much here. It's just really for crash safety. It's really roomy with, like the Tacoma. Yes, this is a bigger engine. This is 4 liters for a V6. That's huge. Some German cars have V8s of this capacity, but you still have a lot of room down here. You have a lot of room to do your own maintenance if you wanted to. I mean, this is why Japanese cars, especially like Toyotas, are really easy to wrench on yourself and fix yourself. There's not too much electronics getting in the way of fixing things. It's pretty easy. I'm really impressed with it. It sounds really good too. Let's take a listen. So, sitting in the interior, it's almost as good as the exterior. I mean, maybe even better in some people's visions. But here's the thing. Yeah, this screen looks a little small. There's a lot of buttons and dials and knobs and things like that. But here's the thing. I already said this is one of the last analog SUVs. One of the ones with, yes, the features that are necessary, but nothing too excessive. This is more of the kind of luxury for the person who likes leather, you know, they're nice big sofas to sit in, wood, chrome, metal all over the place. It's for people who like things like that rather than just screen, technology, gadgets. It's more for people who like the traditional type of luxury. You even get an analog clock. I mean, most vehicles now have incorporated it into the screen, but here you just get an hour button, a minute button, and that's sort of all you get in that term. You get your navigation screen, tap it, brings you to your navigation. You get a home button, audio off. You could put audio, you could go to apps. Okay, you have the same apps as the Tacoma, and I won't go too much into detail with them, but all in all, it's pretty nice. And yes, it does have all these buttons and dials, but remember, the Tacoma had the same exact functions minus the track and this tune to scroll button. So it's really set up like a Tacoma. It's just a smaller screen and more dials and buttons. That's really cool. Take a look at the air conditioning buttons. I mean, they're big dials again, and you can go to, oh my god, 86 degrees, okay, in here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go low. You could set it on automatic. You could set it on dual zone, and I could turn that side off. I could turn the fan on higher, lower, turn it completely off. get seat warmers so you could cool them, which on a nice hot day, the ventilated seats do really make a difference. That feels really nice, and they work pretty tough. Or you could make it warm, which is just gonna make you feel, I don't know, not too good inside. It's pretty nice. Pulling this down, you do have a light to turn it on, and you also get, you know, things like a little extender on the side, which it, you know, it covers up the mirror at that, right? You get some garage door presets, which you could calibrate for your house, which is really cool. And you get a sunglass holder here, where you could put your Gucci glasses in there if you want. And you get your traction control button here, like the Tacoma up here, which is really interesting. A-Track is sort of your management system for off-roading. You get hill descent control, so if you're going down a hill off-road, this slows you down using engine braking rather than the vehicle's brakes, making them hot and unusable afterwards. Really nice engineering, I'd say. There is an SOS button, so if you do flip your 4Runner, which some people, I guess, will do once in a while, you press the SOS button and it helps you out. It sends people to save you. With this, you actually get a lot of adjustments for a four-wheel drive system. So you see this little light flashing at me right now, right? It's going a little bonkers. You know, it's saying, hey, the center diff is going to be locked when you turn it on. You could actually turn it off with this little lever. So, as of always, let's give the vehicle a score right now. It's a pretty good vehicle, as with all Toyota vehicles. I mean, they've made it really well. And the scoring system is going to be more subjectively based. It's going to be more based on the type of vehicle it is. So I'm not going to score it like a sports car. I'm going to score it like the sort of analog SUV that it's trying to be. So saying that, it's an SUV sport utility vehicle. So since sport comes first, let's start with the weekend category. Out of 10 points, I think it should deserve the full 10 because it rides comfortably. It's still kind of sporty with those bigger wheels, with a nice suspension. You can still off-road with it. It looks really good too. I mean, in a world of curves, this blocky, more analog manner is pretty cool in my opinion. It's pretty rugged. I really like it. It looks a lot more like a truck. Saying that, I think it should get the 10 out of 10 in this segment. Moving on to the weekday category. Is it practical? Well, yeah, the rear seats have a lot of room. You got a massive trunk in the back. You get the cool window rising system, and the tailgate is automatic too. You get these nice roof racks, as I showed you. The engine is pretty reliable. It's old school, but it's reliable. It makes a lot of power. It's honestly a great family car, and even though it does have leather seats and all, it is really durable leather. It's not cheap leather that's going to tear. It doesn't sag over time like some competitor vehicles. It holds up really nicely. I really like it in that term, and I think it deserves the full 10 out of 10, which gives the vehicle a nice 20 out of 20 score. As of always with Inver Grove Toyota, they've been really helpful, really professional. I mean, can you get dealerships better than this? They even equip this room for me with blue LED lights. Do you get that anywhere else? No. So thank you, Inver Grove Toyota, for the vehicle and the filming location for today's video. As of always, my name is Mohammed Javed. Performance is my passion, and I'll see you all next time on The Young Driver.